Good morning, everyone. Good afternoon, everyone. Good evening, everyone, depending on where you are on this earth. My name is David Reed, and I am with GateWorld.net, formerly of Stargate Command, and we are letting in some faces you might recognize. My goodness.
Hello.
Hello, everyone.
Hi, guys.
Hello. Hello.
Hello.
I'm hearing Joseph Malazzi. I'm not seeing Joseph Malazzi. And I see Frida Vitrani.
For some reason, it doesn't automatically turn on the
There we go.
camera.
And Terrell Rothery. Oh my God. Hi, Terrell.
Hello.
Hello.
Mr. Peter Williams. Hello, sir.
Where's
Free.
Peter?
Bruce Washington. Good to see you, sir.
Bruce.
Hey, Joe.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Alex Zahara. Hello.
Just woke up.
Hello. Hello.
Good morning.
Barry's iPad. We've got Barry's iPad, ladies and gentlemen. Mr. Campbell.
Barry's not here. He sent his iPad instead.
Barry.
Andrew Jackson. Hello,
Hello.
sir.
Hello.
How are you?
Very good.
See all of you.
Hi, Andrew.
I love my hair.
Ilum Orion. Hello, sir. How you doing?
Good. How are you
Good
guys
to see
doing?
you. Very good. I've got David Winning in here, but I'm not seeing his sound.
Oh, you're seeing me
There he
now.
is.
I'm here.
Hello, sir.
Hey, guys.
Hey,
How's
David.
everybody?
Hello.
My goodness, this is quite the crew. How are you guys all holding up?
Fine.
I'm not holding up. I'm holding down. I'm in my basement.
Oh,
Hey.
you're David.
Hi, Peter. Hi, Peter.
Hi, guys.
Hello.
Who that?
Oh
Hey,
my
Terrell.
gosh.
Long time no see, Blondie.
What's up with that?
What a view,
I
Look at
just
you,
put it up.
buddy.
Hi, Terrell.
Saying hi. Where's
Wow.
that?
Cool.
It's Frida. Look, we're blondes. Me and you. We're twins.
It's
Looks like
easier to cover the grays,
Exactly.
right?
Exactly. You are so smart. It's yes. It looks amazing.
Thank you.
I look like a blonde homeless man.
Oh, geez.
You're two-toned, Alex. You're two-toned.
It's called bedhead.
Did you just wake up, Alex?
Yep.
Oh, you're living the dream.
Actors.
Yeah.
Oh, no, it's no
didn't you-
kids. No
Didn't
kids.
you have big hair recently, Alex? Isn't
Yeah,
that what you
I-
were saying?
My hair was like out to here, and I got it chopped off finally. And I was, oh my gosh, like it was like 8 inches long, 7 or 8 inches long.
Wow.
I hope you took lots of pictures.
7 inches long.
They're around. Yeah. There you go.
I had to start putting elastic on my head.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Me too.
You used to be blonde as well, didn't you, Andrew?
Me?
Yeah.
This still is blonde.
Oh, it must be the light.
Dirty blonde.
I mean, I've got white coming in underneath, but yeah, it's blonde.
Guys,
Nordic jeans.
thank you so much for joining us. This is, I didn't expect this many people, so this is going to be kind of like herding cats, because I know you haven't seen each other a lot recently. But the reason that we're all here is, quite simply for the fans. And the fact that this thing that these wonderful people gave birth to 20 years ago is still ongoing is quite magnificent. Frida, can you tell us about what it's like to still be involved in this thing, Stargate and GateCon and fandom, over all of these decades? If you can start us off.
Oh my God. Am I starting you guys off? Oh dear.
You're at the top, so I'm working my way down.
Well, I would say that it's like the one huge consistent thing in my life. You know what I mean? That it's always there. I thought it would be gone by now, to be honest. It's quite amazing. It's super cool to hear from folks and to share those memories with people. Like, I mean, it's just a huge part of my life, like before I was married. And it sort of is quite amazing to come back today and people are still interested. I mean, come on. Who else is interested after 20 years? I mean, it's amazing. It's truly something special, and it's amazing that I can still count on it, that there's somebody out there that's still interested in what I'm doing.
One of the things that I think is particularly cool is that I'm on a lot of the Facebook Stargate fan groups, and I have to welcome Garwin Sanford, who's joining us just a little bit late. Mr. Sanford, hello, sir. I can't see you.
Hey, Dave.
Hello, sir. Can you turn on your video?
Oh, okay. I had, let me check here. I hit the wrong button, obviously.
Well, at least we can hear you. You continue to work on
Give me a
that.
second. It won't.
Bottom left of your screen.
I'll join it. Yeah, I'm looking at the bottom edge.
Leave the Tolan to not be able to figure out the technology.
If you're on an iPad, it's on the top right.
No, I'm on a Mac. Okay, give me a second. I'll come back.
Sure, absolutely. One of the things that I've been noticing is that younger generations are moving into the fan space. I mean, people who weren't alive when the show started are now watching it.
Oh my God.
Joe, you've been involved in this machine, since season 4 of SG1. What's your take?
My take is I agree with your take that fandom is still out there, and it hasn't really died down at all, and they're anxiously awaiting more Stargate.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm with that
Well
group as well.
said.
And we have to welcome Simone Bailey. She has now joined us. Hey, girl.
Hey,
Hi.
Hi, Simone.
Hi.
Oh, so great to see you.
Alex Sahara's gone back to bed.
That's right.
Where's
Terrell.
your coffee?
Yeah, actually, I'm supposed to be doing a workout with my girlfriend right now out of my deck that we built last year in the last 2 years. So I'm taking a few moments out, and then I'm gonna have to join her soon. Sorry, guys.
Okay.
No, it's all good. Terrell, you're on mute.
I am, because I have birds in the background.
Oh, those are your birds. Okay, got it.
I like the birds, actually.
I like the
It's very
birds
peaceful.
too.
Oh, you say that now.
Yeah.
How many are there? Carol, how many birds? 2?
Two budgies.
Oh, I love the sound of birds.
I have a little zoo. My daughter's 11, so we have 2 birds, 2 leopard geckos, 2 cats, one with only 3 legs, and a one-eyed dog.
Oh.
You have a cat with 3 legs and a one-eyed dog?
Yep. It sounds like a country song, doesn't it?
It sure does.
It does.
Hey guys,
Terrell,
Cleans house.
this is Shannon.
I have always loved, I love all your guys' panels for sure. I've especially loved yours. You work that crowd. You take control of that audience and you give them exactly what they want. What is it about fandom that you think has maintained this thing for 20 years?
I think it's because in the many years that I've been working in this crazy industry, the sci-fi fans are the most loyal, and they stick by you. You know what I mean? And I don't know. I think we're just really blessed to have people like that who want to continue to see us. And you were talking about how it has been 20 years, and I have to tell you guys a really funny story. I remember doing, I guess it was Comic-Con with John. What's John's last name? He plays Q.
John Delancey.
John, who's so funny. Anyway, the 2 of us were sitting there. We were side by side, and people were coming up, and Stargate was fairly new in the sense that we were still pretty popular, and we were all younger and not having to dye our hair blonde to cover the grays. And I remember these fans coming up to him, and this one fellow came up to him, and he's like, "Hey, hi, John. You look really old." No, he said, "You look really tired." And John was like, Thank you. Yes, I am. I am really tired. And I was, of course, laughing, and he just kept saying, "You wait." And then people would come by and say, "You know, my mom really loved your character." So I'm watching all of this stuff, and now I sit in conventions, and I have some people come by who say, "Can you not smile like that? Your one eye gets really, really small." And I'm like, "Oh, okay, I'll do my best." And then they'll come by and they'll say, the sweet, I'll never forget. He's like, "You know, I have to tell you, would you mind signing this? My grandfather was so in love with you." And I just keep seeing John flashing, right? When he said, "You wait, you wait." But again, there you go. That's the longevity of this. It was such and this is kudos to you, John, or Joe, and everybody else. The writing was so good, and all of the characters were so full. There was always stuff there, and then they got the action stuff, and they got the special effects, and why wouldn't they keep coming back, and why wouldn't they introduce their kids and in turn grandkids too? Do you know what I mean? There wasn't crazy violence, there wasn't crazy over-the-top sex. It was a show that everybody could watch and everybody enjoyed. And again, years later, I'm just so grateful that I got to be a part of it.
Thank you for joining us. I've got a couple of extra folks on board. I think I'm seeing Mr. Eric Avari.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Hello.
Sir, do you have video?
I want to see your handsome face.
I don't know.
Put the camera on.
I've been watching, listening, but how do I get video? I see Eric's
So you're on an iPad. Who has an iPad?
It's at the top right. It's at the top right. Touch the screen on the top right. You'll see a little thing that looks like a movie camera.
Share. Oh, start video. Oh, thank you.
Start video. That's it.
There we go.
Hey.
Hello, sir.
Good doing, guys. Good
Funny
morning.
way.
Funny way. I was just thinking it to myself, about how fortunate I was with my first show, first movie that I was aged up, So I get quite the opposite thing. It was like, man, you haven't changed a bit. At least that used to be. You haven't changed a bit. You look the same. I was like, yeah, that was an hour and a half in the makeup chair. Now it's live. It's real.
Tell me about it.
Peter Williams, sir.
Hey,
Yes.
Eric, I'm going to come back to you in a minute here. Tell us about some of your experiences with fans and why you think this is, continuing to inspire and enthrall people after 20 years of GateCon. I mean, obviously Stargate's been going on much longer than that, as Mr. Avari can attest to, despite his age.
I'm just going to piggyback on what Terrell said, the loyalty of the fans. You guys, trust me, especially in times like this, I feel extremely fortunate to have a little community that I can step into out of the real world. I know everybody here has their own politics, but let me just tell you, I think people in the sci-fi world are among the least judgmental of all groups, subgroups that I have found. And I feel warmth whenever I engage with the fans.
Peter.
Yes.
Been great to see you, by the way.
Yeah, man, great to see you, Eric.
Why do you think that is?
But I think it's the fantasy levels are cranked up in the sci-fi world, and people have an ability to look back at themselves from a place of fantasy.
Yeah, I think that I've often been struck by this, that I think sci-fi fans, by definition, are more accepting, so they're willing to jump into another world, another thing, and make that, connection. So
Eric, 1 second. Let me interject. I'm going to agree. I'm agreeing. And I know we're all Gators here, but I'm going to put it all on the original Star Trek. From most of us were indoctrinated by that vision of the universe, and it was diverse, and it was creative, and it had levity. You know, it was a really well constructed show. And of course, we grew out of that and we continued it in our own way on Stargate and Star Wars to some extent.
And I also think that another adjective to throw in there is a sense of morality. You know, there was a sense of right or wrong, and you know, sense of
and belonging for everybody. You know, so
exactly. That's why I feel it, and I definitely feel. I look around this screen and I just feel so blessed. You know, Andrew, Mika.
Hey, great to see you, Peter.
Hey, Andrew.
Yeah.
Mr. Barry Campbell, sir.
Of course, Richard and Friend too, by the way. Richard and Friend.
Where are they?
Yes,
they are present.
There you are.
Hiya. I don't see them.
Hey guys, I hate to say I've got to go because I'm painting my house today, and I've got to get to
Okay,
work.
can we talk to Alex before
Yes,
you go?
Alex.
Yeah, let's do
Alex,
that.
let's get your take before you have to split.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, for me, like the writing really hit me when one of my earliest auditions, I did like the Michael the Hippie, right? And just the universal themes of like, you know, kindness and humanity to one another. And when Charlie Carell was directing and we did this one scene where, you know, Michael says like, you know, I don't want to go to war because he's going to go off to the Vietnam War. And he said it a bunch of times in the show. And then I said to Charlie, I said, can we make it like the line, I don't want to kill anybody towards the end. And I've said this story before, but it was really great because he said, yeah, they would love that, you know, let's do it. And it went in the show. But that's just it, because the writing was the base of the writing was so great, you could like, it spawned real human visceral reactions in everybody. And that's the theme, because it's an ideal world, right? We'd all like to be a little kind. We'd like the world to be a little kinder, a little nicer, etc. And Stargate made that. And all the episodes I was in, that was basically the theme in the end, is like, how do we come together to work together, to live together? So that's why, you know, I think it really showed just worked because of that. And I was really grateful to be part of that. So there you go.
Well, thank you so much for joining us.
David,
Really appreciate you.
Take care, Alex.
Hey,
Good luck with the painting, Alex.
I would show you all the colors outside and whatnot, but where's the color swatch somewhere here? Oh, there. That's the color.
What
It's gonna
color are you going? Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, it's called Normandy. There you go. But anyway,
Is that a
Take
blue
care.
or a gray?
it's a bluey gray.
Yeah, it's like a midnight blue or something.
Yeah. And then real quick, I'll just come out here fast. There's the house in the background.
Oh, it's so sweet.
Wow.
There you go.
Are you where? Oh, cool.
Wow.
We
You
built all that.
Strong.
My buddies and I built all that in the oh, that's my girlfriend Shannon. Hi Shannon.
Hi, Shannon.
We built all this deck in the last 2 summers. My buddies and I, and my friend lives here, and it's like a little commune. It's like a Stargate hippie commune.
Another one.
Anyway, lovely to see everybody. Take care. Be well.
See you.
Good to see you, sir.
Okay, Alex.
Stopping by.
Bye. Ciao. Now I gotta leave. I don't know how to leave. Pressure.
Colin Cunningham is now joining us. Sir, can you see us?
David,
Colin, are you there?
Buddy,
Bruce, say again.
Bruce.
is that I'm on a ferry that's pulling out into the strait, and you're going to lose me pretty quick. So
Oh, dear.
I'm going to go to you real quick then. Tell us your thoughts on why this is still ongoing.
well, because the writing is so good. If it's not on the page, it's not on the stage. And I'm not
Oh.
just that because Joe's there. The stories were good. The cast was amazing, and that's for all of you guys because that's how the story gets told. But it's like I still have people coming up to me, and I've been making feature films for a long time, since we've been making Stargate, and people still ask me about Stargate. They don't ask me so much about, you know, San Andreas or RoboCop.
Power
so much
Rangers, yeah.
that Power Rangers. They ask me about Stargate still, and I am forever grateful because it has afforded me a wonderful life and lifestyle, and I've got to meet all of these fabulous people, including all of you. But I'm on my iPhone, and I'm going to lose you guys pretty quick because we're pulling out into the strait.
Well, thank you for joining us, Bruce. And you look amazing.
Well, shucks, and you don't even have to say that.
No, I saw that he sent a wide shot of us, and I was like, that man's lost some weight. Good for him.
Yeah,
So,
Bruce,
looking good.
Bruce, are you going up the Sunshine Coast or are you going over to the island?
I live on the island now.
Okay.
Oh yeah, no, I'm kind of done making pictures. I'm up on the North Island. I'm just running over to Tsawwassen for a few minutes to pick up my son.
Okay.
But, so wonderful to see all of you today. This is
Man,
great.
excellent.
Say hello to the family
ferry.
for
Nice
us.
to see you.
Yeah, you too.
See you, Bruce.
Bye-bye, everybody. Take care.
Take care.
Hi, Bruce.
Colin, can you hear us? Are you there? I see I see Colin's name, but I'm not hearing or seeing him.
All in name only.
In name only. Barry, you started off as a fan, and we're a fan for the longest time in this franchise until nearly the very end of its run. You became part of this whole mechanism, and were in fact the reason that the show went to the Arctic. Tell us your perspective on this behemoth that continues to exist and persist.
Well, for me, it's been one of the miracles of my life. Starting off as a fan and then actually being able to participate in some little way has been just wonderful. And along the why has it lasted so long line, everything everybody else said. I mean, the shows were captivating, the actors were endearing, but after that, it's the family that really makes this special to me. When you go to a con, most of the fun of a con is not sitting and watching actors, tell us their stories, which I love to do, and I'll continue to. But it's the things that happen outside the room. It's meeting up with those same folks out in the bar or meeting up with more fans. It's just the family that makes it so wonderful, I think. And that's what's special about sci-fi, but that's what's extra special, I think, about the Stargate sci-fi fans.
Yeah.
I have to agree.
Agree.
Mr. Jackson. Welcome to Colin Cunningham.
Where's
Hello.
Colin?
Hey,
I
Colin.
want to say hi. I gotta run, so I want to say hi to Colin before I go.
Colin, I can't hear you.
Yep.
Hey, I
So
got my first grandchild.
Oh,
Hey,
congratulations!
Congratulations.
Hey, Grandpa.
Grandson.
Oh.
Congratulations, Peter. That's,
Yeah, thanks.
that's
great.
crazy.
Yeah.
No, I don't.
Colin, buddy, I'm
believe it.
still not hearing you.
He's born the week before lockdown.
Oh my God.
Congratulations.
Wow.
Wow.
Congratulations, Peter. Way going.
Yeah, man. Thanks.
Incredible.
He's cute
Okay,
too.
I have to go. I gotta
Frida,
run.
thank you for joining us so much.
Frida.
See you, Frida.
Bye,
Bye,
guys.
Yeah.
See you.
I don't know how to end this, but
Red button.
Ready?
Press the red button and hold on tight.
everybody, what's the song that you got? What's that song?
Absolutely
that-
everybody.
Absolutely everybody, everybody.
Thank you for joining us, Frida. It means a lot.
Okay. Take care, everybody.
Bye.
Bye now.
Rita.
Mr. Andrew Jackson, Persis, your thoughts on this whole thing?
Well, I mean, I've worked on a wealth of shows and sci-fi shows, and I find in general with television, there's a disconnect between us as performers and the audience. And so it's pretty amazing when we get a chance to actually meet with a group of fans, like the group from GateCon, who share this like-minded passion and have done so for so many years. And, I think in terms of like the universal themes that are addressed in science fiction, and particularly, date back to shows like Star Trek, and looking at, all these incredible shows that have handled sociopolitical issues that are really ahead of their time. And I think that generally speaking, I think a sci-fi audience is a very intelligent audience. No offense to, fans of soap operas, but I worked on a soap many decades ago, and, often they'd ask, well, who are you dating and what's your favorite color? And with shows like Stargate, the fans, they really get into the episodes and they ask some incredible questions. And there's an element for some of them, and maybe self-included, that think there's an element of, or kernel of truth in what was explored with this particular show that dates back to the original feature film. there's something about it that just really, really resonates. And because of the passion with the fans, I found that the key word is family. You know, that having, you know, met with these people for many decades, and I have to thank Colin Cunningham, because he's the reason that I got originally brought in to attend one of the cons after they'd been around for a few years. And I said, well, I'm not a recurring ongoing character in the show. They're not going to want to see me. And
it doesn't matter.
It turns out it didn't matter, which is amazing. And I mean, that gives you a sense of the scope of interest and passion for the show. People wanted to get to know everybody that had been involved in some capacity. And it just, I found, because the, you know, GateCon is fan driven, that passion is very sincere. It's genuine. It doesn't feel corporate in any way. There's nothing cold about it. It's just so full of heart, and the people are amazing. And many have actually become friends that I'm grateful to communicate on Facebook with so many of the fans of the show, and you know, just developed this kind of a connection.
Actually, I remember. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Hey, I figured it out. Now, I was just going to say that I remember I brought Andrew in to that con because I know he hadn't eaten in a couple of days. And I said, there's free food there over there at the buffet. Anyway, I just worked out all the bugs, you guys. I've never done a Zoom before, so I just let the Chinese government into my phone to take over everything. So I'm happy to see all your faces and hear your voices, and I hope everybody's doing well. Hello.
Hello, sir.
Hello.
Can you stick around for a few minutes?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. I believe Miss Rachel Luttrell has joined us. Rachel, are you there?
Oh, hang on a second.
I hear you. I do not
yeah, you can hear me, but I think I joined for some reason without video. So I'm going to leave it, and I'm going to come back in 1 second.
Okay, sounds good.
All righty.
Rachel, don't go away.
I won't go away.
She's coming back.
Top
I'm
right
coming back. I'm coming right back.
It's the top right-hand corner of your.
Oh, she's gone.
She
decided how she's going to handle it.
I have done Zoom before, but this Zoom, you have to go to the top right-hand corner of your own picture to add video after you accept audio. Usually on Zoom, it says audio and video. You click on that, and it's automatic, right? So anyway, I'm just going to let her know that it just go to the top of your picture. But
well, she's back. She's reconnected.
Okay, so this is very strange, and you would think that I would have had this down by now because I am using this every day for my kids' homeschooling. But for some reason, my video isn't working.
Where's your video
it's really
icon?
strange.
Take your mouse and go to the top right-hand corner of your box.
Oh, all
and
right.
then a window will pop up saying add video, mute, etc., etc.
Yeah, I'm here.
And then you click on
it.
It'll
Say...
Start video.
Yeah.
There we go. There she is.
Hello.
I feel so inane. That was ridiculous.
I love how the most technologically advanced race among all of us, that gentleman became the tech guy.
Yeah,
so,
fantastic.
That's perfect.
Because I just went through it.
Exactly.
Hello, everybody.
Hello, Rachel.
Hi. I just heard about this like yesterday, so I'm just back from brunch with my family, and I just wanted to say hi.
Well, welcome. I'm working my way through the crowd here. Do you have a second to hang on or to stick around?
Yeah.
Okay. Mr. Elam Orion, hello, sir. How are you doing?
I'm good. Thank you.
And you know what? Ever since Daniel mentioned a throwaway line in season 5 that the Germans had discovered the DHD in the 1900s, I knew the Nazis were going to come into play at some point here, and Stargate Origins finally made that happen. You came into this the tail end of it. You're basically the baby of everyone here in terms of getting used to the Stargate experience. What has this been like for you over the past couple of years?
I mean, it's been great. Like people here said, it's a family. It feels like a family. I have now friends that I met online mostly because we didn't get to do any con yet, and they're now friends. And I got to meet Finn and Richard, and hopefully I'll meet all you guys in person someday in LA or somewhere else. But it's been great. It's yeah, like you said, it's a family, and it's wonderful to somehow be a part of this family, and I would love to get to know the family better one day.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for joining us. We really appreciate you being on. Mr. David Winning, sir, how are you doing?
It's me. I'm great. I was thinking about speaking about being a baby in this group, I did one episode 16 years ago.
Childhood's End.
It was a great experience. I did one of the first Stargate Atlantis episodes in season 1, and it was a riot. Loved it. Had a great time. Wished I would be able to do more, but I mean, I've done a ton of sci-fi, and it was all kind of working up to being, getting Stargate, and I finally got Stargate, and it was a great time. I got a lot of work out of this one episode, which was great. It just wasn't back on Stargate again, but that's cool. But the gift that I got from it, I did the one episode, and then the gift that kept giving was obviously GateCon and the fans. I've done a ton of sci-fi, and I've been all over the States and in Europe doing the conventions like all you guys have. And it's just great to meet these people. And like you say, and I agree with what everybody's saying about how they are the most dedicated fans, and they're the most fun people, I think. And I also think a lot of the sci-fi fans, maybe not so much now because it's cool to be kind of a geek like it didn't used to be when I was in high school getting beat up. But it's I think a lot of people are kind of isolated. There's a lot of introverts that are in our fan world, and so they grab onto this, and it becomes kind of not an altered reality, but it becomes another friend for them. And I think that's one of the reasons that these series just go on, which is a great thing for people, I think.
I can certainly speak to that. I myself have suffered from depression all my life, and I know a number of fans that after a convention, we meet new people, you go out to eat with them, and they tell them about your stories, and a lot of them are very broken. And sci-fi is an escape. It is therapy for a lot of people, and just like Peter said earlier, Peter Williams said with Star Trek, Stargate has continued that legacy of showing a very humanist perspective on humanity, that we are all in this together when we put down our knives and our guns and our weapons and actually try to hear one another. So it's cool.
I agree.
Absolutely. Miss Simone Bailey.
Hi.
Hello, sister.
Hello. I'm coming to you guys live from LA, staying safe. I hope you guys are all well. It is so awesome to see all of your faces. I miss you all so much. I just want to give you big hugs. And hello to all the fans.
What tell us about your experiences with fandom and how things have been for you in that world. I know you've had some art created for you, for instance.
Yeah, I mean the whole experience has been crazy for me because I came on as a 1-episode part that evolved into 3 seasons recurring, so that was such a gift. And for me, Stargate is amazing, with the writing to start with, then the experience on set and the Stargate family and that connection, and then to be able, and thank you so much to GateCon for all of their amazing contribution to the love of the show and sci-fi culture. It's an incredible experience, and I have now gone to 2 GateCons, and it was so sad that we couldn't do it this year, but I'm looking forward to the next one. But when I leave that convention after a full weekend and I pour my energy into connecting with everyone, because I just love everyone so much, and it really is Stargate family. And I feel withdrawals when I leave, because you get to connect with all of these people and hear how much the show has touched them. And the other thing that's so cool is seeing the generations of fans. So you'll meet, the grandparents, and then the parents, and then the child, right? And that is so cool that a show can last. I mean, it's timeless. And it's really touching. I mean, when I go to a convention, I have tons of laughs, but I also have tears because there's so many heartfelt moments. And I just want to thank everyone, fans, everyone on the show, everyone at GateCon. Thank you so much. This has been such an incredible experience, and it is the gift that keeps on giving. And I'm so very grateful.
Well, thank you for joining us. I appreciate having you very much.
Yeah.
Hey, Mr. David. Garwin Sanford.
Hello, David.
Hello, sir. I still have them. And I'm hoping that our interview gets published. And if not, I'm coming back to you for another one because I want to discuss these. Garwin gave these to me as a gift. These are his arts. Wow. He is an extraordinary artist. So are these First Nation?
All First Nations, yeah. When I was living in Los Angeles, I came across a series of photographs, the history of photographs of many First Nations people in the U.S. And it struck me. And I was doing pen and ink at the time, so I just started doing. I wanted to do a series of them, and then that came out of that. I went, well, you know what? I'm going to box these up, and I give them to people. Some of them were sold, but mostly it was just to have them as a representation of my art. And I would hand them out to people that I liked, like David.
I'm so thankful. I love them. Tell us about what you think about this entity that we're still entity. That sounds morbid and horrible. This fandom that still exists, you know, and what makes it persist.
I got involved really early on because I was literally in South Africa filming Sinbad of all things, you know, like Sinbad. It was hilarious, but I got a call from the agent saying, "You've been offered a character called Nareem in Stargate." And I hadn't really heard much about Stargate at the time. So I went, oh, okay. And I literally got, the second day after I got back from South Africa, I started filming on Stargate. So we did the episode, and it was fun to do. And you recognized again that writing is what does it, because the characters, the archetypes are being represented that people identify with the whole world has storytelling, every culture, and they use archetypes to tell those stories. You have the reluctant hero, you have all the different the saves and all that stuff. So that's what you start looking at when you read a story. Is it going to travel? Will it continue? It was fun to do, but you had no idea that it was about to turn into that. You had no idea that it was about to become something that went on for so many years. And then the gift was that I got to come back and do 3 more episodes, which was great fun. And again, they allowed me to fall in love with Amanda Tapping. So all sorts of gifts out of that show, but mostly I think it's because of those archetypes. People recognize themselves in those stories. Like you talked about therapy for people. You were saying some people that have issues and they look at it and they get help from seeing characters work through their flaws. And that's what I liked as well. They all had different temperaments. The characters were written well enough so that they weren't just heroes. They were heroes with flaws, and they had heroes with issues, and they had to work through them. And we watched them do that as we became family members. We started becoming part of that family. So, you know, I can see Peter on my screen right now. And I remember thinking about, you know, who he played and who he is and what the differences are. But what you brought, Peter, is that core of you to that character, and people would identify with it. It's tremendous to see that happen. And
even the villain. Yeah, I agree. He had some meaty stuff early on, especially like with Serpent Song, you know, even if it's your bitter enemy, sometimes, you know, you've got to do the right thing by him.
Look, I always say, you know, if you're not going to be the star of the show, be the bad guy. For sure.
That's half of my career, Peter. And
it paid off, right?
Because you get to do exactly that. You can be good and bad at the same time.
Yeah.
You can draw out moments in yourself that show that there is a human in there. And that's what you dig for, is to find some, well, not so much human in your case, alien, but regardless, you got to draw out humanity inside yourself and show it every once in a while, and then turn around and do the bad thing right after.
But you know what? I can still make my eyes glow.
They are right now.
Exactly.
I have to welcome Mr. Tony Amendola. Thank you for joining us, sir.
Oh,
Hey,
it's
Tony.
my pleasure. I was just admiring all the wonderful faces. Look at Terrell. Terrell is in the corner. I can't. And Peter and Eric.
Tony.
How are you seeing everyone?
Well, you know, I switched over to gallery view so I can see who, you know, because I have some creditors and I need to escape. You know, even David. Look, there's David.
Good to see you.
Yeah, it's good to see you. No, it's such a pleasure seeing you all, and it makes me. And there's Fryn. There she is. Yeah, so I'm coping, doing well, doing what we're all doing, and you know, I have to say, you know, you just sort of figure out a way, right? You just figure out a way, and it's good. I've been working oddly, you know, in this time of COVID, I've been working on The Caretaker, if anyone else knows Pinter's The Caretaker, that's where I've been spending my time, and I need to leave actually for a Zoom rehearsal in about 15. But I'm well, and it's lovely to see you all. Honestly, I thought, okay, this will be fun. Richard and Fran, and this will be fun. But it was so great to all of a sudden have a view of you all coming together on a Sunday morning from all over the world. And, it touched me. So thank you.
Any thoughts on fandom before we let you go?
Any thoughts on fandom? The hell with fandom. No.
Tony!
No. I'm always puzzled by it, myself in the sense of I'm always surprised that people come and see us. I always think of us as, working actors. I've never thought of myself as an artist. I think of myself as an artisan. And but I'm delighted that we share a common passion, and I'm delighted to spend time with them. There's such a variety of people you meet. There are, hardcore fans, and but then there are military fans, and then there are astronaut fans, and then you're flying to Italy, and the captain, the pilot asks to speak with you, and you say, "I really wish you were in the cockpit." I wish there were two of you in the cockpit. And my favorite is there was my family's from a town in Italy called Amalfi. And a woman contacted me who was restoring the doors to the cathedral in Amalfi. And she was a big fan of Stargate. Someone connected us. And the next thing you know, I'm in Italy having a wonderful time with she and her family, having a tour of the Uffizi, because of her, she's an antiquities restorer. And, it's those kinds of adventures. And I always say to my wife, I think, what a wonderful group of people to share a common passion with, and as some of the people, that passion could be stories. Stargate was great because it was contemporary sci-fi, so it was a real, I always tell the story that when I first got the job on Stargate, the thing that excited me was going to Vancouver. It wasn't Stargate. It was having a chance to spend 2 weeks in a wonderful city. And who would have thought that event would have changed my life so much? And I thank you all, and I thank the fans. And if I have to leave you, know that I'm waving at you, but I will be here for another 10 minutes or so. But thank you.
Perfect. Thank you,
David.
Tony.
Thank you.
Mr. Eric Avari, sir, I am not worthy. This is such a pleasure to have you. Frin and Alan and Richard often talk about and this is going to get a little heavy, I apologize. The morning of September 11th, and just before the second GateCon, trying to figure out how you guys are going to move forward with it, not necessarily cancel it, but not beyond the realm of possibility either, and how much everyone really appreciated and needed that event to go forward, especially once it was done. Tell us about those memories.
Etched indelibly in my mind, that was my first GateCon, and we were talking about the outsider. I think that's one of the things that attract people to sci-fi, etc. It was certainly my let me back this up a little bit.
Sure.
Where I came from. I never in a million years thought I would end up in Hollywood. I was a stage actor, and I was always very conscious of looking very different to anyone else, being the outsider in that sense. But there was I felt a strong connection with the classics and the training that no one could take away from me, or And I felt like if I could make it, that's where I could make it, you know. But when I did watch Star Trek, the original, you know, I felt like if at all, that would be my in, you know, because just as in, you know, most sci-fi, to have a classical training is certainly advantageous, and, you know, it gives you a leg up. But that outsider thing was really important to me. And right after 9/11, I suddenly became that outsider to the nth degree. You know, I was the target demographic. I was that age. I was that look. I was that terrorist, you know. And the fighting the ethnicity thing was always something that I was concerned with, not only personally, but professionally. You know, that I've always felt like I needed to fight that stereotype. So anyway, and the way even Stargate even happened was so fortuitous, because I was actually shooting. I was shooting a movie, The Mummy, in Marrakesh, and had, again, to back up, I was supposed to shoot. I was on a run of a picture contract, and at the last minute, Omar Sharif fell ill, couldn't do it, so they put me in his role, which changed my schedule completely. Now I had like 6 weeks off in the middle. And during that 6-week period, I got a call to do Stargate SG. I went up to Canada to shoot that, and then off to Marrakesh to finish this role. So, I mean, the very fact that it even happened, you know, was completely by chance. Now, jump cut to 9/11. I was a little trepidation. It was the very first Stargate convention that I'd ever attended or was scheduled to attend.
Wow.
I had no idea what to expect. Literally, you know, what was it, like 3 days before 9/11, you know, and I'm getting ready to get on a plane. And I was just, I got, you know, it was predictably, I pulled over at the airport and frisked, and I remember they took away my, my beard trimmers. Very expensive, I might add, but they were tiny little, you know, beard trimmers, right? That I took with me. And why not? That goes in this big old bin full of Swiss Army knives, you know, that they'd confiscated. Anyway, so I get up to Vancouver full of stress and anxiety, and the minute I walked on that stage and I felt that vibe, and I remember there was a group from New Jersey. It was just somehow, and I just felt compelled to recite the prayer, you know, Kasuf's prayer in the movie. And, I don't know, there was something mystical about that. And Stargate GateCon has always held a really deep and special place, because it was an open acceptance into this very large family, very tight-knit, and given the circumstances, it became even tighter, you know. So it was really something special, and I thank, you know, whoever for bringing it all together and making it happen, you know.
Thank you for sharing that. No, I agree. Tony, I understand you've got to go. Terrell, you have to go. Guys, thank you so much for joining us. Really appreciate having you.
Are you shooting on stage? What's happening with the caretaker?
No. It's just something we're preparing. It's stage.
Oh.
It's stage. Yeah.
Oh, good for you.
Yeah.
I wish I was so disciplined. Good for you. Good to see you, man.
Good to see you both. Thank you for
much.
coming,
It's
Terrell.
lovely to- And we'll see you in 2021.
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely.
Bye, Tony. Bye, Terrell.
Bye. Bye.
You guys.
Bye.
Eric, thank you so much for sharing that. That
felt compelled
hit me in the feels.
Right.
That's I don't have any words for that. Thank you so much. Mika McKinnon, hello.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm doing well. I've accidentally been doing all sorts of science during this pandemic. Turns out when you get everybody to stay home, the entire planet gets quieter, and we can actually see that on all of our seismic stations. So that's
Really?
been accidentally fascinating.
Wow.
Yeah.
Mika was the science advisor for Stargate for a number of years, so thank you for joining us. Tell us about your perspective on fandom and, working, on the show and getting a chance to meet, people from around the world who have loved the work that you were part of.
Oh, it's been amazing. It's as working in disaster science is not usually a very cheerful field. I normally only talk to people on their very worst day, or when I'm trying to convince them that they should do something about their future worst day. And Stargate was my first chance to work in the entertainment industry, to work in fiction, to be able to take all of these cool concepts we learn in school and then never do anything with and start using them in a really playful way. I've done all sorts of ridiculous things for Stargate, like take the energy of a solar flare and feed it into a black hole, or run a whole series of equations starting at quantum entanglement and ending up at storm formation. And it's all legitimate. It's all stuff you could do, but you'd never do it under any other circumstance. And it's been so much fun. It's like the first time I showed up at that convention, I was terrified. I was convinced that people would pick at things and go, well, what about this particular scene? Or could you tell me why this works? And instead, everyone was really excited. And it's been just fun. That we managed to publish some science in Stargate 3 years before we found it in real life is just like this ultimate bonus as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, she's referring to a pulsar that turned on and off at the end of season 1 of Stargate Universe. You guys hypothesized that this thing existed in the universe. It was a microwave pulsar, I think?
So
microwaves?
We wanted to have a pulsar that was really slow, so it could be like death, 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 kill, kill, kill every 22 minutes. And pulsars are like lighthouses of death. As they spin around, they have all these high energy particles that come out and kill everybody. So we wanted that to sweep around every 22 minutes. But in real life, pulsars are like nanoseconds. So it would just be constant death, and that doesn't work for our story. So we went, well, what if we had a starving pulsar, one that was just on the edge of being able to activate and not, and gave it a feeder star on a quick orbit around it? There's no reason this can't happen, even though we've never seen it anywhere in the universe. So we did that. That was the plot. Everybody did their invasions. We had the death, 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 kill, kill, kill every 22 minutes. The story works great. Then 3 years later, we actually found a real life system, an actual pulsar system that had that set up. It was slightly different timing, but the science was the same. And it was just like, victory.
It's
We
so
did it.
cool.
So, just if you were wondering, it happened on Stargate first. It's not technology like in Star Trek. We did better than that. We predicted a fundamental characteristic of the universe in our show first. Have your brag points there.
Was that an accidental discovery, or did you go looking for it, Mika?
It was an accidental discovery. There had been a couple other people who had theories that these things could exist, but finding space is really, really big. And finding particular things, a lot of it happens just because you're looking in the right place at the right time. And sometimes you think you're looking in the right place and you miss. We had a little itsy bitsy tiny problem earlier this week where the Hubble Space Telescope was supposed to be looking at Ganymede, one of the moons of Jupiter, and the images all came back blank. And the question is, of course, did somebody get rid of Ganymede because it's 2020, or did the telescope miss? Hopefully the moon is still there. It'd be a little bit dramatic if we just misplaced the moon.
I have a question for you. I met with an engineer who claimed that oftentimes a lot of the things that they end up exploring or inventing are the result of things that inspired them from science fiction. And I remember like looking at Blade Runner and the large moving screens that you saw. Well, that of course ultimately became a reality. That oftentimes the imagination of science fiction, it becomes part of our reality. So this is obviously a case in point here, or maybe it was just a coincidence. I don't know. But do you find that scientists are in fact inspired sometimes by science fiction, and it sort of encourages them to explore the ideas that they see on screen?
Oh, absolutely. It's totally another thing that happens quite a bit is people say, oh, don't the other scientists look down on you for doing sci-fi? And the answer is no, it's like having pixie dust. They are so excited that I get to work with Stargate. And then these other shows that I've managed to do since then have all been just like, we're all so excited because scientists are often enormous geeks, right? And we often get inspired by it. Like Apophis is the namesake for a asteroid that we found, a near Earth object that we thought was going to come into an orbit and hit the Earth. And then we did more observations and realized, no, it's okay. It's not going to kill us all. Not a doomsday rock. Fantastic. Or today we're playing on Twitter a game, You Find a Rock, about a mineral that shares a name with Apophis as well. So there's definitely, scientists are humans, and we like to take the things we're fans of and include them in our work. I have yet to find a bug that's been named after a Stargate character, but sooner or later I know we'll find one.
But there's a scarab on one of my costumes.
Hey, David, can you hear me okay, David?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, no, can you see me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Awesome. Listen, I just wanted to say, like, my mind is being blown right now. I mean, and it's this incredible circle from what David Winning was talking about, like, sci-fi fans, before it was cool, and you've got these people, and I hear these words like outcasts, and you're feeling a little bit out of touch. I think I just lost you guys. Am I still there?
You're right here. You
Okay,
keep going.
awesome. And I just think it's amazing that, and you talk about family, so you've got people who don't feel like they quite fit in. They're not the cool people. And they tune into a show that expands the imagination and their artistic creativity. And then that is literally gets reflected back in new inventions and in the science of the universe. And it blows my mind. It really does. I mean, the family aspect of it is totally true. We've all said it. It sounds a bit hokey, but it's true. But also when you think you've got young kids that tune into the show that inspires them to become astronauts, they end up inventing in real life. And then you think, well, the show featured that particular idea. Why don't I use that in an application of science, just to look at it from the left side, the right side, under, over, out of the box, and a new discovery's made. It's insane. And I also just wanted to tie this back. We're all talking about this immense trail of dominoes that goes out into the infinite. And I gotta bring it back to where it started. And I guess it started long ago, but I just wanted to, again, just throw out some kudos to Brad Wright and Joe Malazzi and Deloise and Martin and David and just anybody, and John Smith, and anybody that because you forget that this takes work. It's effing hard, man. It's labor, and especially when you're starting something and people poo-poo it, they put it down, they criticize it, and it takes strength, and it takes perseverance, and it takes focus, and this discipline not to give up, because we all believe in it now. But I have little doubt there was a time when Brad or anybody else might have experienced some real doubts with it, dealing with execs, dealing with lack of budgets. Can we actually build that? Can we make our day? these are immense challenges that actually give people heart attacks and it will put you in the friggin' hospital. But they persevered, became this global phenomenon of success. And if I had, I'd tip it. So I just wanted to just add that because it's really a trip, man. Like, wow, you know?
Well, I appreciate you joining us. I know Joseph Melancy has to go, but first, Joe, who's this?
This is why I have to go, but she's getting a bit cranky. She's a senior rescue that we adopted a couple of years ago, Suji. But just actually pursuant to what Colin was saying, you know, like, you know, it always starts at the top, and that was Brad Wright and Robert Cooper. You know, Brad was co-creator on SG1, and then co-creator on the next two shows, and hopefully the co-creator on a fourth new series, hopefully sooner than later, that will allow us to introduce the world to like all new, you know, Stargate viewers, but at the same time, basically allow us to revisit with familiar faces like the ones we see on screen here.
Did your voice just crack, Joe?
What?
Are you giving away something here?
No. But I mean, but also, you know, production is a very symbiotic relationship, right? So you put it on the page, and then everybody brings it to life. And like, you know, the performances are really sort of what brings these characters to life. And you know, people always say, you know, it's great, you know, kudos to the writers, but really the writers and the actors are what, you know, and the directors are who develop these characters. And, you know, it's something that the fans respond to. And like everybody's been saying throughout, they mentioned family. And at the end of the day, this is what Stargate is. Family, both obviously in front of the camera through teams like SG1 and the Atlantis Expedition, the Crew of the Destiny, and behind the scenes, as you guys are all, you know, bear witness to, you know, meeting fans at conventions. So all this to say, I thank you guys very much. David, thank you for moderating. Suji, thanks you. And hopefully we get to do this again real soon.
See you later, Joe.
Hey, David, I got to run. I'm sorry.
Oh, absolutely. But before we let you all go, I'd like on Richard and Fran and Alan and Ian's behalf, if we could all say happy birthday, GateCon, relatively simultaneously. So for a clip here, if that's okay. And then I'm going to get to Terrell. I mean, not to Terrell, to Rachel. Is that all right?
Sure.
So let's try it. Let's see what happens. So happy birthday, GateCon. 3, 2, 1.
Happy birthday, GateCon.
Thank you, guys. Rachel, I've saved the best for last.
Oh,
Ms.
no,
Taylor
you
Imogen.
No, you didn't. No, you didn't.
How you doing?
I'm good. I'm really good. I'm so glad that I heard about this, and I'm so glad that I could jump in. And it's been great hearing everybody's stories. I'm thrilled to be here, and obviously I'm thrilled to be a part of the Stargate family. And indeed, it is a family. Yeah.
What is it about fandom that you think keeps bringing these people back, you know, after 20 years? We were going to have another one of these this year. You know, hundreds of people were going to show up in Vancouver again to these shows.
Yeah. First of all, let me say, like a lot of everybody else here who has shared, I was unaware of the reach and the scope of Stargate when I joined. And in many ways, I'm glad that that is the case, because I may have been vastly intimidated. But my first convention blew me away. And I'm sorry, I've got my dogs wrestling in the back.
Is that what that is? Okay.
Stop it. And they have blown me away ever since. I'm always deeply, deeply moved. You know, when we as actors are performing, you know, we tend to not think, and this is just how it is, about how our performance will reverberate into the world. We do our job and we do it to the best of our ability, but knowing in this world how it has touched people It makes me really emotional, always, when I speak
I know
about it.
babies that have been named Taylor. I mean,
Yeah.
there's an impact.
Yeah, it's a huge impact. And what I always hear, hey, stop it. I'm so sorry. It's
No, you're
comical.
fine.
What I always am lucky enough to hear is how people have been inspired by the show, by the stories, by my character many times, but just by the stories that we've told, inspired them to do things that they never thought that they could do, inspired them to be braver than they thought they were, inspired them to pursue things that they thought were beyond their reach, and also have helped people through really, really hard times. And that's amazing. And what a gift. I mean, it was a gift in and of itself to be part of this community. It was a gift in and of itself to be able to portray Taylor and to be able to work with all of the amazing actors. That was a gift. But the fact that after so many years, I am still being gifted by these incredible stories is so humbling. I'm incredibly humbled by it, and always so moved by it. So yes, it's a family. That was certainly my experience, and that persists. And I consider it to be an enormous gift.
Thank you for sharing. Appreciate having you. Folks, this has been absolutely extraordinary. Any thoughts that any of you would like to share to wrap us up? Open it to the floor.
I wanted to send out just a quick shout out, David, to Friend and Richard and Alan and to the charities and the just the good vibes and the money raised and the auctions, and from every writer on the show, every producer on the show, to the craft service people, the PAs and the actors that showed up that were blessed to be a part of this thing. I mean, we can still, we're still a part of it, and it's testament. I mean, we in some ways we played a part on a show, but it's the folks behind GateCon and created a bit of a legacy. And I think that now I feel like I'm riding the wave they created as opposed to the other way around, you know?
Yeah.
Thank you,
I want to add that GateCon has always been an indicator of firsts in my life. I'm actually a new resident in a brand new basement here. This thing, I hung it 3 minutes before we clicked on. You can see the insulation in the wall, and behind that banner is bare concrete. This is the very first Zoom meeting I have had since I moved into this place, because for a whole month I was using data on my phone for the internet. I have only recently been rehooked up, and this is going to be a first of many, I hope. I'm going to operate from my basement until this pandemic is over.
Well, thank you, Peter, for taking the time to join us. And yeah, your connection's great. So
yeah, it's a
working.
Great connection. I'm very, I'm psyched.
Anyone else?
So people keep saying how Stargate has been an inspiration for among fans and among that support. It's been amazing for me. I'm a woman in science, which is always one of those things where it is not always the most friendly field. It has been so lovely how many amazing, strong women scientist characters have been in the Stargate franchise. And that's something that always comes up, is how many people come up and tell me either they got into science because of Stargate, or it encouraged them because of it, or because they're hoping that those characters will be role models for their kids. And that Stargate managed to actually include then women scientists behind the scenes as well is like this added bonus in a field where there are just not many of us. So I've always appreciated that element of inclusivity and that ability to take the show that I worked on and use it as an example of, hey, we can do this. And the characters are always so collaborative in their science. They're not like backstabbing each other or anything like that. So that's one of the things I've always appreciated about it, and that a lot of the science fans appreciate about it.
Didn't you bring up in the chat here that the space station has Stargate DVDs?
Yes, so the International Space Station has a very limited amount of media that they can watch because they have to physically bring it up there. There are Stargate CDs on the International Space Station in the official inventory, and I have talked to astronauts about it. They have been so excited, and they do fangirl moments about Stargate. Well, I'm busy fangirling about them being actual real-life astronauts.
Wow. Thank you for
If you
sharing.
ever want to watch a rocket launch, turns out you can tell them you worked on Stargate and you'll probably be able to get a little pass to be able to go to the rocket launch.
Anyone else?
Is it possible to Zoom to space? Can we Zoom with people on the space station?
They mostly use ham radio, actually. And when we do ham radio competitions, Vancouver usually wins for getting the space station first just because how the orbits align. So if you ever want to talk to an astronaut in space, get your ham radio license.
I'm going to say I know somebody.
You do indeed. Anyone else, folks?
We're just talking about science, and Einstein said something about the most important part of science he felt was imagination, right? Because the scientists use their imagination to look beyond. So back in the 50s, they thought about lasers, and like you said before, Mika, that we follow. So all of a sudden, scientists see this, their imagination gets spiked. We had science fiction writers like Arthur C. Clarke, who was actually a real scientist, and they're writing based in their knowledge. But his imagination carried him beyond to the next logical thing. And that next logical thing is what then moves us. So thought becomes deed, becomes action, becomes reality. So be careful what we think.
Yeah.
Be safe, be kind, be gentle, be loving to yourself, and dream big. Because what we dream becomes reality. There's no doubt that we create it for ourselves. And you see that in I think one of the reasons why Stargate resonates so much is because of that. They see those stories, and that fires us to think forward and think positive things. You know, it's great. I think it's fantastic. I'm going to shut up now.
No, you're fine. It really is a testament. I mean, if you look back at our technology, you know, this little show from the 60s that barely lasted 3 seasons has propelled so much of what, you know, exists now. And, you know, I keep an element of it to remind myself of that. So that's a thing. Guys, thank you so much for taking the time to join us and for sticking through this whole thing. Peter, Barry, Andrew, Elam, Mr. David Winning, Simone Bailey, Garwin Sanford, Mika McKinnon, Rachel Luttrell, Mr. Colin Cunningham. Folks, it was a pleasure to be able to sit down and talk with you guys for a little bit about such an important part of my life and an important part of the lives of the people who are watching, something that continues to give us hope that, especially right now, you know, we really need this. And it's just the best part of all of us, you know, this show. And you guys were an integral piece to that. So thank you for joining us.
Okay.
Thank you, David.
So much, David.
Thank
Stay safe,
Thank you,
everybody.
David.
Hi,
Wear your
everybody.
mask.
Nice seeing you all.
Thanks.
Great to see you.
So much.
Stay safe.
Yeah, everybody
Be
stay
safe.
We'll see you on
Be
set
good
this
to your
year.
fellow man, and we'll see you in 2021.
Okay, take care, guys.
Everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.
All right, after party.
Hi, David.
Guys. Hey, Simone.
Hi.
Oh, man, I miss you guys. Gosh.
Nice too.
How y'all doing?
Holding up.
Yeah? You good?
Yeah.
LA's okay? I have a couple of friends there. It's pretty rough right now.
I'm not going to restaurants. I don't do any of that kind of stuff. Yeah. No.
Yeah. Garwin, you getting some air out there? You guys okay?
Yeah, I've been self-isolating for like 6 months, basically. Literally. I mean, I just turned down, I got offered a movie, and it was one of the bigger roles I've been offered in ages, and I looked at the script. This was just a couple of weeks ago. And I looked at the script, and it had me in a room with 20 people, all actors and background without masks. And I looked at a crew of 50 or 60 or 70, and I'd be in a room for a few weeks at least with that many people. And I started thinking, I don't think that's a smart thing to do at this point.
When are they shooting?
Pardon me?
When are they starting shooting?
They started shooting about 2 weeks ago. Wow. I got offered it 4 days before it went. And I just thought, it was a big decision for me because, I'm going, and I had been auditioning because in Vancouver, everything had started to drop. We were down to 0 cases. And that's when I started auditioning big time and started looking for stuff. And then this offer came, and I had to think about it quite seriously. And I told my agent, I said, actually, now the reality's here, I have to look at it. And then I realized, I phoned him, I said, look, I can't do this because at the risk of bringing it back to my family, I couldn't live with myself if that happened. And what was it for? Some money. I liked the role, but it just isn't smart. So then I said, I'm going to have to just pull out of the business until this is over because I can't take that risk. If I was living on my own, I might have thought of something different possibly, but you go, so the world has changed. I'm no longer a working actor until this is finished. It becomes, although one of the bonuses is that, depuis le début de 15 ans moment COVID-19, de quarantaine, je suis plongé dans l'enseignement, le français moi-même.
So you're working on your French.
I've been spending the last 5 months teaching myself French because I've always wanted to do it. I had high school French and that was it. And I went,
this man is a jack of all trades. He built his own house. He's a pilot. This man never fails to impress me.
I have to challenge myself somewhere. I go crazy, but it's been a real joy. I'm getting to the point where I can converse and listen in French. So that's been fun. So there's something coming out of it because I forced myself into, focusing on something while I was sitting in my house for 6 months. But. Wow. But anyway, I just really wanted to say to Richard and Fran and Alan and everybody, this has been such I've only been able to come to a couple of conventions, one in Blackpool and the one in Vancouver, because it was Don Day. I came with Ruby. And I didn't really know what that was. Like Eric was saying, when he got there, he hadn't experienced it before, neither had I. And it is such a gift. It really is, not only for that just experience of being in front of people who are like-minded, but also for all that kind of energy that comes with it. They talked about how, you guys especially foment this place where there's non-judgmental. Dave, you talked about all being nerds and that wasn't accepted, and now it is more in the science fiction world. But it is really a gift of tolerance, and that's, boy, I'll tell you, if there's anything we need more of right now, is acceptance and tolerance, and that feeling of, you never feel that kind of warmth in a large group. It's astounding. So thank you guys for allowing that to happen. And the work you guys put into it, we know how hard you work. So it's hugely appreciated, just so you know.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Thank you.
Simone, you doing okay? I know I have friends in LA. It's pretty rough right now.
Yeah, I think what's interesting is just seeing how even in my friend group, how the views are so different on masks or not, and whether you should, business as usual or not. And I, agree that you should be safe and responsible and considerate, So I've gone through great lengths to make sure that I'm keeping myself and everyone else safe. I've spent most of this time as well, alone, which is interesting, but I've really found new depths in myself, and I've learned a lot of things, and I, created my YouTube show, and there's been a lot of growth and kind of a deeper understanding. I think this is a really good time, if we can take anything positive out of it, is that we push the reset button, and there's something about when answers come to you in the silence a little bit. So yeah, and it's deepened a connection with a lot of people from all over, and even the fans too. It's really cool because they lift me up, because we all feel the depression. You can't not be affected by the pandemic and the politics and the way of the world and the injustices. it's quite glaring, you know. So.
It's been really, I've been getting pretty stir crazy, and I took up Uber driving early in January, mainly to give me something to do. And I'm in Phoenix, and watching people, it's been getting really weird. I had a gun pulled on me the other night. I was fine. But you know, people are not well. I'll get writers telling me, I have a son, he has Asperger's, you know, his his therapy is group sessions and building relationships with other people, and now he can't do that, and he's declining. And I'll get people, I've lost count of the number of people who have told me, yeah, my little kid started kindergarten, and he's sitting at his computer, and every day he sobs because he's trying to figure this thing out. And it's you know, when the suicide prevention hotline is up like 1,000%, alcohol consumption is up at least 50%. You know, you have to prescribe Stargate or something similar. There has to be a release, and we're seeing what happens in the streets when there's not. So it's pretty rough. But you know, at the same time, you know, there are people out there like Garwin who are saying, you know what, I'm going to be constructive with this time, and this is what I'm going to do. If people are self-starters, they're going to find a way one way or the other. So at the end of the day, you know, these things are going to work themselves out. But I've got hope, and I hope you guys too.
Absolutely, yeah. And I think you have to choose to be an energy lifter and not add to the heaviness and the darkness of it all, because it's just such a vortex, and it's so easily, you know, we get so easily pulled into that. And you know, it's work, but it's also just detaching, you know. And it doesn't mean like turning a blind eye, but it's just like,
no,
you know, taking care of yourself. Like self-care is just such a majorly important thing right now.
Richard, how has the response been online? Because I know this would be a real financial hit not to have a convention this year. So has the response online been good?
Yeah, I mean, we had a few people obviously cancel because they couldn't plan for next year yet. But that wasn't too bad, wasn't as bad as we thought it might be. And the support we've had online has been amazing. Obviously, people say we made the right decision. We couldn't have done anything else really in the circumstances. Yeah, and I think people are just using this as an excuse to look forward to something next year now. You know, get this out of the way and move on as soon as we can.
Hang on as best as they can. Yeah. Friend, Ian?
Hello.
We are on. Okay. Sitting here very quietly.
No, it has had an effect. There's no two ways about it. Financially, it's been a bit of a dent in the coffers.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, the hotels put their prices up as well for next year, so that's a double dent.
Oh.
But we'll get through it. We'll manage. Yeah, be fine.
Well,
Steph?
hopefully with a year that didn't, 1 year that they didn't happen, hopefully it'll be bigger next year. You'll get a better response.
We hope.
Maybe. We can hope. We can hope.
Fingers crossed.
Well, Steph's muted, so I don't know whether she'll answer.
You can hear us, I know that.
She can hear. She can
She didn't
hear.
put duct tape over her mouth. That's the
Steph, you're being spoken to.
Hello.
You doing okay? Say hi to Garwin and Simone. Don't be shy.
Hello.
There she is.
Oh, nice to see your face.
And Beth, we have Beth too.
That's been lurking too. Yeah.
Yeah, she's been lurking. So, hey there.
Gosh, there is someone there.
Hi. Yeah, my producer.
You got your video, your speaker off there.
You're muted.
There we go.
Say hi to everybody.
Hello.
You're in Michigan, right?
met Simone anyway.
Are you in Michigan or Wisconsin?
Wisconsin.
Wisconsin. I get them mixed up all the time. It's like Idaho and Iowa. How are things up there?
Decent. I don't know too much what's going on. I just stay in my apartment most of the time. So.
Uber Eats?
Stuff like that, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. We'll stay safe. Do what you can. So, guys, I've ran out of questions.
That's the first. Improv time. I'm going to David to say thanks a lot. And I'm sorry I'm not going to see you this year. I always enjoy our time together. So thank you so much for facilitating. Thank you, Richard, for putting all this in place. And
you're very welcome. Thanks for coming.
And Steph and Beth and everybody. It's appreciated. So take care of yourselves. Be kind to yourselves. And I'm really looking forward to seeing you guys. I've been in Ontario each year for the last 2 years in September, so I didn't get to come. But hopefully next year that won't be the case, and I'll be there. So.
We're gonna track you down, boy. I want to see you again.
I've got your email address, so I'll find you.
That's right. You know. Anyway, thanks so much, guys.
Thanks, Garwin.
Yeah,
Thank you, Simone.
Thank you, Simone.
Thank you.
I know.
And I'm so excited to see you guys again.
Oh,
great.
Thank you. You too.
All right, take care.
You take care of yourself.
Bye.
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 Yeah.